at Poly Pavilion. Tad, my guess is you're probably feeling like you let one get away tonight. Doesn't it seem like there was an opportunity out there for you?
Yeah, we did, Mark. We feel like this was a winnable game. We found out about 45 minutes before the game, Chris Smith is out. Our hearts go out to him. Being a senior, coming back for his senior year, to have an injury like that is just it's disheartening. And so that was disappointing. But it opened up an opportunity for us to get a game tonight. They were still trying to find themselves a little bit. I thought they got tired in the second half, and we just weren't able to get over the hump. I thought in the second half we had some awful good looks. He even had two really good looks there at the end, from three, from Maddox, who's been shooting the ball really, really well for us. So I, missed some bunnies in the second half that, I think normally we can make. And against UCLA, every basket is just like you got to work for everything. They're so good defensively, and you got to be able to make plays. I thought for the most part tonight we did that, but man, when we had some looks in the second half that didn't go in, it was a little disheartening. But man, our guys battle, Mark. We're obviously, this program is way past the point of moral victories, but I really like the way our guys played with competitiveness and toughness and grit tonight against a solid, good UCLA basketball team. And felt like we could have won it, but we didn't make enough plays down the stretch to get it done.
You talk about UCLA defensively, and you can really tell Mick Cronin's kind of put his stamp on that program, Tad. They're really up in you all the time, aren't they? I mean, they don't give you a lot of room to work, which makes it then tough to get into the flow of your offense.
No question. And we didn't do a good enough job tonight in terms of our cutting and just getting open. I mean, we had some sets, we couldn't even run them because we couldn't even get open for the entry pass. And, we ran one of a timeout, we turned it over for a layup. And I mean, those are the things, again, these close games, conference games, especially on the road, your margin for error goes down significantly, Mark. And it might be a turnover here, or an offensive rebound there, or, a missed layup here, or, we're shooting the ball. I mean, we're number one in the country in free throw shooting. I expect to make every one. And, but it might be a missed free throw here. It might be a missed, open look. We had some open looks we didn't make, but it was a hell of a college basketball game, high level, especially on the defensive end. I think both teams will get better offensively as the year kind of plays out. But tonight was a defensive battle. I just felt like every basket we had to manufacture. And they're so quick in their rotations that you have a split second to make a play or make a shot. That ball's got to move. There were times we did a good job of that. There's times we didn't.
Ted, yeah, I know you could say, well, you played some high-level teams, some very talented teams, but you guys, considering that rebounding is a cornerstone for you, have been out-rebounded 3 of the last 4 games right now. What does that say about
look, tonight, Mark, was a battle. I thought our guys battled on the boards. We were up 1 at half on the boards. We were down 3 in the second half, so we ended up -2. Both teams had 9 offensive rebounds. I felt like we battled, but they got some big bodies in there. But I actually, quite frankly, I was pretty pleased with it. I thought Cody Riley kind of beasted us a couple times. Bernard beasted us a couple times down there, but our guys were fighting and they were battling, and that's all you could ask for as a coach. I don't look at that as being, a reason we lost the game. Again, a couple of those in the second half that we could have limited them to 1 shot. There's a couple of them for sure, but I can't say we lost this game because we didn't rebound the ball, didn't battle on the board. We didn't get enough of them, obviously.
You bet. Well, it's good to be coming home. You got 4 straight at home. Ted, we appreciate the time. Safe travels.
Yeah, Mark, it's going to be great to get back into Boulder. I mean, we 8 of our first 10 away from home. I don't know how many, Power 5 conference teams have done that. But I know we're not alone, but we're one of the few that haven't had much home cooking. So we need to get back to Boulder. I just wish we had fans, but we're looking forward to getting back.
You bet. That's the head coach, Tad Boyle.
Okay, general media will go ahead and continue with Coach. Pat, go ahead. You can lead us off.
Coach, obviously Evan picked up those 3 fouls really quickly after halftime, but with Dallas out, with Jabari Walker having 4 fouls, did you consider getting him back in there a little more quickly at all than when you did?
No, Pat, we went small a little bit tonight because UCLA and the way the matchups are, we were able to do that. Jaime Jaquez plays the 4 for them, and Deshaun Schwartz, we felt like was a good matchup there. So, I don't look at our rotations tonight as an issue because again, UCLA, they play 4 guards and 1 big. And so Deshaun's actually probably a better matchup for Jaquez than maybe Jariah is or Jabari was, just because of size and experience and that sort of thing. But we can't afford Evan Batty to be in foul trouble, especially with Dallas not being in the lineup. There's no doubt about it. Evan's value for this team goes up dramatically, and he's a smart player. And there were some battles down there in the post. They could have called a foul every single time if they wanted to. I'm telling you, it was a man's game tonight. And I don't know if you can pick that up, on the TV or on the feed, but it was a battle extraordinaire in that paint. There's going to be some bruises tomorrow on both sides, UCLA and Colorado.
Okay, Hart Pisani with a question.
Hey, Coach, on the note of Dallas, I know you said you found out just before the game that Chris Smith was going to be out for the year. Did that factor into the decision not to play Dallas tonight at all, or was that decided before then?
No. I Dallas and I visited a little bit earlier in the day. I knew Dallas wasn't going to play regardless of what happened to UCLA. That had nothing to do with it, Hart.
Okay, Justin, go ahead.
Coach, just on your final offensive possession, after Maddox's first 3, and Evan gets that rebound in the paint, then the ball gets dished back out to Maddox for the second 3. Would you have preferred Evan to take that shot in the paint and maybe go for the foul, or did you like just the decision making there, giving that back to Maddox for a second attempt?
With you, Justin, to be honest with you, I think early, if we get that offensive rebound and there's 10 or 12 seconds to go, I'd like to go up for the 2. But I thought it was a really good decision by Evan to kick it back out. Again, I know you guys aren't at our practices this year, but man, Maddox Daniels has been shooting the ball so well in practice that, Evan saw him open in the corner and got him a good look. He had a better look on that shot than he did on the play call that we had coming out of the timeout. And so I was fine with that. I really was. If there's a little time left, maybe you take the quick 2, but we were out of timeouts. It's not like we could call a timeout and set up our press. So I like the decision to kick it out for the 3, being down 3 and going for the tie on the road. I thought it was a good look by Maddox. Just didn't go in and, got wedged in the rim there.
Okay, Jake, go ahead.
Tad, just kind of piecing together some of the comments you've made tonight and in the past, how impressed are you with what Mick Cronin's done at UCLA and where that could go, the future of UCLA's program?
I'm really impressed. Mick's a hell of a coach. And, Mark Johnson mentioned, he's put his stamp on the program. There's no question about that. And their players have bought into his defensive and toughness mindset. And I know that's the way we never played against his teams at Cincinnati, but I know that's kind of what he was known for. And now being in the league for a year and a half, you definitely see it. And he's taken a bunch of guys who are really talented offensively and gotten them to guard and gotten them to buy into the defensive end. And, you see when their guys make defensive mistakes, they're getting the hook. That's just the way he's wired. And, I don't know Mick extremely well, but I've got a lot of respect for him as a coach and the way he runs this program. And look, UCLA is always going to have good players. And when he came in, there's some good players in the program, without a doubt. I mean, I mentioned Chris Smith. He's a senior, and my heart goes out to him. But you look at Ju Zhang, who's a transfer from Kentucky, and Jaime Jaquez is a guy. I always talk about McKinley being underrated on a national level. I think Jaime Jaquez and Tiger Campbell are really, really underrated as well. Jules Bernard's a guy who is probably one of the most improved players on their team. He's gotten better. So got a lot of respect for UCLA and the way they play and their players and their coaches.
Okay, Pat Rooney.
Coach, curious about something kind of big picture wise a little bit. Excuse me here. With these 3 road games, how would you quantify or describe whatever home court advantage your opposition had with the empty gyms, and how might that translate for you now coming home for 4 games?
You know, it's a wash, Pat. To me, it's a wash. And I think the teams that maybe, you know, and Nora, I look at the Arizona, you know, there wasn't 14,000 fans in the stands, but they played with unbelievable energy. I think it really gets down to the players and the coaches and the mindset of the team that you're playing. And do they really want to play? I think that's the one thing you're going to find out, and you've maybe found out a little bit this early in the season. It's going to become more and more obvious as the season plays out. Did I lose you? All right, am I back?
Yeah, you're back, Coach. Go ahead.
Okay. But I think the one thing, Pat, you're going to see play out as the season unfolds is who really wants to play, who's really ready to play. And because you don't have home court fans to kind of lift you up. Now, when we come back to Colorado, the one thing that we do have an advantage on is altitude. And we know that. That's a factor. So we don't have our fans in the building, but nobody else does either. So that's a wash. Our job is to make sure our players are ready to go mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every sense of the word. They got to be ready to play and want to play. And I think the one thing I love about our team is I know they want to play. And that, you know, we have not come out flat, you know, all year long. We've been ready to go. We haven't always played well, but we've been ready to play and we want to play. And I think that's what you're going to see kind of play out as this season unfolds, in my opinion.
Okay, we're going to have one final question for Hart.
Hey, Coach, I know it was a bit of a slow start on the night for McKinley. Was that any sort of injury-related thing, or was it just the flow of the game took him a while to get going? And how key is he going to be? How important is he going to be heading this next home?
He's fine. McKinley's fine physically, and yeah, I think it was just the way the game was kind of flowing, and you know, he made a big time shot and then one in the second half to tie the game up, and I thought we could get over the hump there. We just couldn't string enough stops together tonight to make a difference. And but McKinley is he's important to us. You know, the one thing I'd like to see, he's 1 for 4 from 3 tonight. I think he's really, again, he's another guy in practice that's shooting the ball well. We're shooting the ball really well in practice, guys, and some guys it's translating the game, some guys it's not. But McKinley's a guy that we need to get him more looks from 3, in my opinion. He's such a good driver and playmaker. That's kind of how he's wired. But I thought he was good tonight, just a little slow start, but he was fine.